Go
Hello.
ahead, Heather.
Yeah. Hello. Today we are talking about universal laws, and our beautiful, wonderful, fabulous, fantastic psychic medium, Dana Jensen, is going to give us all kinds of information about these amazing laws. So, the first law that I have, Dana, is law of oneness. So,
Law of oneness. That's a perfect one to start. What does law of oneness mean? It means we are all one, and conscious energy is not separate from anything. It is all combined into one. We are all connected with people. We are all connected with nature. We are just connected as one. That saying of we are all one is so important to understand that, because whatever you're doing in your ripple effect, or whatever it is that you're doing in your understanding, there's a cause and effect that comes from it, right? So if you're putting out a cause, or you're putting out an action or some sort of frequency, there is a reaction that will happen. That is the oneness. So how do we navigate through trying to make sure that we are putting out the good vibes, and that we are putting out things that will come back to us in a good way, but also sending out wonderful energy to the people around us? And when you're aware of this and you're conscious of this, you can switch it real quick. When you wake up and you're not in the best of moods, or you're waking up and you're a little headachy, or something's going on, how do you switch that? And how do you have to remember, whenever you're dealing with natural laws, there's the opposite ends of the spectrum. There's good, there's bad, there's pure, there's impure. There's all of that effect from one side to the other. So, if you are in a bad mood, you could be in a great mood in a simple thought. That's the best part about it. So this is what I kind of want to talk about today. So we understand that. Did we do some homework last night? Because I know I did.
I love it. I love it. It's just pretty amazing. I just glanced at it, actually, universal laws, and it shows that there's 12 of them, I believe. Yes, 12 universal laws that I've done a little bit of research on. The next law is the law of energy.
The law of energy. What energy are we putting out there in a frequency? Anything that comes out of our brain is a frequency.
Okay.
So, and you can actually see the frequency. If you can see energy, you can see the frequency that's going out to the universe. So how do we want to do this? And I remember one time just sitting there. It was very shortly after my mom had passed away, and I would wake up bright and early, and it was in the summertime, and I'd go and sit on this porch, and it was a cloudy day, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm reflecting, and obviously I'm not in the greatest spirits because I had just lost my mom. But I'm sitting here looking up at the sky, and I'm meditating and I'm praying, and I'm by myself, and it was a cloudy day, and I'm looking up and I'm kind of drifting off into space, and I can see these little particles flying through the air. And I'm like, what is that? And I'm thinking, it's maybe my eyes. I'm thinking, am I having a stroke? What the heck's going on here? So I'm looking at it, and I'm watching these little molecules that are dancing back and forth, and they're moving really fast. And I'm noticing, as my thoughts are changing, they're either becoming more and more vibrant and moving faster, or when I start thinking a little bit on a negative side, they're less and they're not moving as much, but they're always moving. And I'm thinking, I am actually seeing the molecules of the matrix. That's what I'm seeing. I was like, so just amazed by what it was. And then I realized, I started doing that. I started kind of putting out a positive thought. I started putting out positive energy, and talking to my mom and talking to the birds and so on and so forth. And it became so vivid, and they moved really, really fast. They were vibrating really, really fast, and they were going like this. But I was measuring my thoughts, and I could see it with my physical eye. It was one of the most amazing things. And this was, 13 years ago or something like that I really understood what it meant to put out the vibrations that we're putting out there in the world. And, from that moment on, I realized, we all go through these ebbs and flows, right? You understand where, sometimes we're happy. Sometimes everything's good and everything's going right and we're lucky and everything's falling in line. And then we go through this other downtime. But honestly, we're supposed to go through that. We're supposed to go through these ebbs and flows. Do you understand what I'm talking about, Heather?
Yes, I do. Definitely. Yes. Yeah. To be on a continuous high, it's not good. No.
Well, I don't know if it's not good. Yes, it's good. It's not good, but I don't think it's real. I think in a big in life, it's not easy. It's not a bowl of cherries. It's not always going to be good. There's always going to be things, and other people affect us so much that, when you walk into a room and, your partner is in a pissy mood and then all of a sudden you become in a pissy mood, that is the ebbs and flows of things. Yeah. I think when we're talking about depression and so on and so forth, I think when people are sort of stuck in that vibration, they stay in that lower vibration because, I think it's that a common law or a natural law is the law of belief. Things are never going to get better. Things suck. Life sucks. My life sucks. If you stay in that natural belief, then of course the world's going to correspond to that. And that's what we want to be able to kind of shift. There's mechanisms, and I know it's sort of etheric and it's sort of out there in the world, and we think, well, how can our brain go from depression to, okay, now I'm just going to think happy and everything's okay. I think people have a hard time sort of putting that concept in play. And so I think we could talk way more about that because there's something about switching the mechanisms. Remember, your brain is such an intense computer. It is one of the most powerful biological computers ever known and created by Source. And how amazing is that when you really think about it from a bigger scale? And what if we were using 50% of our brain? What if we were using 90% of our brain? What would that look like?
Right.
So I don't know. Do you have a card to pull? I think we could probably, see what kind of energy we could do with that.
Yes. Well, when I was shuffling, there's sometimes a card will jump while you're shuffling, right? So those are called jump cards, very well named. And the card that jumped said, embarking on an adventure. I savor the wonders of the world. So I think that this is quite an adventure that we're on, and with the show and the topic of today, universal laws. And what you're sharing with us, letting us know about these different laws, it's very helpful, right? So that's an adventure to move forward with. And do you want me to the card that I did pull? Is that okay if I share that?
Absolutely.
It's making a difference. My inner light shines far and wide. So look at that. Look at that. Okay.
And even preparing for this and putting this together, I could feel the excitement. I was up about 5 minutes before my alarm, and it was the first thing that I thought of. And I'm like, you get up and you're like, okay. And it's so funny when you're sitting here and you're creating this and you're putting this together, because the technology is affected by your energy as well. So when technology isn't working, I can tell my energy is not where it needs to be. So it's time to switch it. But and even now moving over to this platform and trying to make this work a little bit better, I can see your beautiful face, Heather. And, we were doing it over on Discord and it just wasn't clear. And I don't feel like we're hearing the feedback and stuff like that anymore as well. So something just happened, something just switched, and something just said, do this instead. And this is going to be very helpful to what it is that you're doing. So I think that's pretty amazing how it all kind of comes about. So I love sharing this information. And I love talking about how do we fix our energy to the point where even when things are challenging. I get a lot of people who come when there's too much thinking going on, or there's just too much going on. And how do you stay positive when you can't grab onto anything? It's like you're in a spin and you can't hold on to anything long enough to say, okay, I need to sort of focus on this and what have you. But again, that comes with the grounding meditations that we talk about often. It's so important. I don't want to be preachy about these things, but I want people to really understand how pinnacle it is to your soul, to your energy, that we do these little self-care acts, and that will allow us to understand how the universe and how the natural laws come our way. I have lots of stories where, all of a sudden, and there's no such thing as coincidences, but all of a sudden, I'm in the right place at the right time, talking to the right people. And it's like, oh, this is perfect. This is what I'm going to do. And, it's because my vibration was high and focused on that. So how do we stay focused on the things that are important to us?
Right. Yeah.
How do we do that?
How do we do that? That's
How
right.
do we do that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's like I've been learning with meditation. It's when a thought comes in and you're trying to meditate, not to think about nothing, but not to think about the grocery list, not to think I've got this problem, that issue, whatever. So I was told to visualize a cloud and put that problem, that thought, whatever, into a cloud and let it go. And then you get the download of good information of what you're going to do with your day and or at that moment or something like that. But it's good. It's a good, positive, happy, energizing feeling.
Yes, and understanding how when we're putting that sort of out there, putting it in that cloud, that's actually, back to the conversation that we had earlier about seeing the molecules in the universe. It is in the cloud, really. I mean, that's why it's called the cloud. It was put into the cloud, and it carries off into the universe, but only acts as a boomerang to come back to you. And that's why law of attraction, or the natural laws that happen, if you think of natural laws, there is an up, there is a down, there is natural laws. And I heard somebody say once, if you fall off a building, you're going to hit the ground. That is a natural law. And if we can really understand these natural laws, the law of attraction comes together. The law of abundance, once you sort of give of yourself or give to others, the frequency is matched. It comes back to you as what you're giving out there. So, they always say if you give $20 to a homeless person, you'll have 40 by the end of the day. Many times in my life, I've done that. I'm always giving money to everybody. I don't know why I do it. I always think sometimes they're going off to buy things that are not good for their highest good. Yeah. But quite often, if I see them standing at the edge of the street or what have you, and they're holding a sign, I'll flip a toonie out or something, that kind of thing. I don't know why I'm compelled to do that, but I am. So I always feel like even though I'm doing that, somebody's going to come and book an appointment. Somebody's going to have some sort of, I'm going to have it replaced, and it happens concurrently, and it happens constantly. And we don't have to worry about it as long as we understand that that's the flow of it.
Yeah. So that brings us then to the law of action, what you were just talking about, right?
Action, reaction.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, action, reaction. And if we understand that whatever action that we're putting out there is going to have a consequence or some sort of karmic reaction, it makes us a little more aware of what it is that we need to put out there in a lot of ways. So I think it's very interesting to see how that all kind of flows in some way too. I wanted to do a view. Is there any comments that are on there? Did you see any? I should probably look on my phone. But the karmic reaction is something that, I think sometimes it doesn't come immediately as well. This is something that could come later. You know, if you're doing good things, life itself will be good for you, you know, in all aspects. And it doesn't just mean money. It means good friends. It means love. Even, you know, the beliefs of finding love. There's an action that we put together, and we put it out to the universe to say, okay, well, you know, we're looking for a partner, we're looking for our match, what have you. But if we have a core belief system that, you know, men or women are this, that, or the other, you know, they're cheaters, or they're non-committal, or they're selfish, or what have you, if we have that core belief system in trying to kind of put out that we're looking for a partner, well, what are you going to get? Who's coming your way if that's the belief system that you're putting out there in the world? So I always say, I am looking for my match, but I also want to be prepared to be in a relationship, in a loving, secure, balanced relationship. And I am putting it out to the universe, and either my person shows, or they're just not ready yet, or they're not prepared just yet. But my vibration doesn't change as long as you know yourself.
Yes.
So I hope that really helps everybody, because I know, you know, a lot of people are having struggles finding partners, and you know, it's funny. I offer a burning question on my services, and I find it very interesting when people will say, oh, I'm talking to somebody online. Can you tell me what this is about? I'm like, okay, well, have you met them yet? You know, have you gone out for coffee? Have you done anything like that? But they don't want to invest the time or the energy or to be vulnerable. So they call me to say, is it worth my time? And really, I always say, you know, you have to go through the process, because going through the process is going to allow you to filter through the red flags. It's going to be able to get you to filter through the people who you know are not right, you know. And I think it's really important to understand the process and not give me a call just because you've had 3 conversations with somebody online. I mean, that's not going to serve you, and I'm probably not going to give you the definite answers that it is that you need, because there hasn't been enough energy invested in the connection. So, you know, but I understand where women are today, and I understand where men are today too. I mean, everybody has their complaints, but again, it is the laws of the universe. If you are putting it out to the universe, it will return to you. It is a natural law.
Right. Well, here's one, the law of correspondence.
Oh, the law of correspondence. Oh, I don't know if I've heard of that law. I know there's about 101, if not more, natural laws. The law of correspondence. How do you take that one?
Well, actually, I'm just looking at what it says here. The law of correspondence proves that what you think and feel in your consciousness and subconsciousness, minds, is what you create on the outside. So look at what you were just saying. Right.
And that makes complete sense. And how do our subconscious mind and our conscious mind, they are 2 separate things. How we deeply, truly, authentically feel about something is our subconscious mind. How we assess, judge, relate is basically our conscious mind. And quite often they're at battles with each other. Yes. You know, so it's really good to be able to merge the 2 if we can. Understanding how to merge the 2 is better. You have to be very, very authentic with yourself if this is what we're going to do. Most of the time we're lying to ourselves. And, you know, in a sense, I say we're lying to ourselves, but if you think about what it is to put something out there, you must be present in your energy. It's not what's in the future. It's what's happening right now, even though it's not tangible.
Right.
And that's sort of that twist that you're doing with your brain. And in a sense, you're kind of lying to yourself, and, that old advert of fake it until you make it kind of thing. So really understanding that being present, like everybody always says, oh, am I going to win the lottery? Well, do you think you're going to win the lottery? And they'll say, well, I hope. And I'm like, well, how about switching that around? I am a lottery winner. I am. Mm-hmm. I am right now, right this second. And anybody that I've ever talked to who's won the lottery knew that they were lottery winners. But again, that's about being present. It's very important that we understand, don't put it off into the future, because the universe, time is a construct, right? And hopefully we have a conversation about this, but time is a construct. So the universe doesn't understand if it's in the future or if it's now, but if you keep putting it off into the future, that's your energy putting it out there into the future. So everything is current and happening this minute. Even when I'm doing readings, I can't tell whether or not I'm seeing it now, later, the future. All I can do is tell you the visions that I'm seeing. And really the timing's up to you.
Yep.
So,
okay, here's the next one. The law of cause and effect.
Cause and effect. What is the cause? What are we putting out there? Again, back to that, cause and effect. Yes, and I think we talked about that a little bit earlier, but I think, do you have any examples of that though? Do you have any examples of that in your life and personal?
Well, it says here the law of cause and effect can also be related to the concept of karma. How's that? So I guess karma, I've always heard people say that, what you put out, what you get. And when people have used it more in a negative situation, well, they'll have karma, because they did something that hurt someone else. And so I just study and listen to what individuals say for things like that. My thing is just do what feels right. And like you say, being honest with yourself. If your subconscious mind is to just naturally be kind to someone, then just be that way and do that. And without any strings attached. That's something that's very big with me. It's just do it. And the non-strings being attached is not expecting even a thank you. Just do it. Just do it. If it makes you feel good, that's it.
Unconditional. And that's where unconditional love comes in. And most love and most of what we do is conditional. And if we're aware that putting out unconditional love, we really need to understand the concept of that, because, just putting out unconditional love to the world is perfect, because then you're not expecting anything back from the world, but you're living in that vibration. So that's what you're going to attract to you. It's very, very important that we really understand the concept of what that is. But I do have a story. Years ago, I used to work at Swiss Chalet. I was a waitress at Swiss Chalet, and always a metaphysicist, obviously. But there was this young girl who was there who was, dabbling in Wicca and dabbling in kind of witchy kind of stuff. And it was so interesting because she was so upset about her boyfriend cheating on her and talking to another woman. And she says, oh, I'm going to do a spell, and I'm going to do a spell that's going to cause him not to be able to speak. And I remember saying to her, you might want to be careful, because no matter what you do and what you put out there will come back to you tenfold. And she goes, oh, that's okay. I know what I'm doing. And I said, okay, no problem. About a month later, she comes in. She was young. She was 20. She had to get all her teeth removed because she had a teeth infection. And I said, and I looked at her and I said, did you do the spell on your boyfriend? And she goes, yeah, I did. And I said, do you not think it's a little coincidental that you have to get all your teeth removed now when you were doing a spell to make him not be able to speak to that woman? And she just kind of looked at me. She was so offended. Do you know, I never got a hello from her ever again. I go to work every day and she just walked right by me as if she didn't see me. And it wasn't about being right. I just wanted her to, and even just understanding the conversation. And don't get me wrong, I've done some things where a karmic reaction has come back my way too, but I've recognized it as karma. That's the powerful of living. That's the power of living, is that if you can recognize it, where, oh, I guess I deserve this one. It's one of those things, and there's an acceptance and a forgiveness that comes from that as well. So I think that's very, very important. So what is our time frame here? I don't have a clock going on.
We've got five more minutes. Five more minutes, and we can finish this on Friday too. How's that sound?
I finish this on Friday, have more conversations about all things in the universal natural laws. I think that's a really great idea. Do you have another card to pull just to let us go out, and then
Sure.
I'll just make sure that I'll close out with a statement that I know will help people, but go ahead and start with your card.
All right. Okay. So right now I'm pulling from the law of attraction. And it says, I am a physical extension of source energy. Look at that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
We all are. Regardless of what you believe in, we are all part of source. And, I think that's important to know as well. So just another law that I want to leave everybody with, because we're going to start our day, we're going to go out, we're going to do our work, and so on and so forth. And I want to talk about breakdowns. Whenever we're in a breakdown and things are just going wrong, and you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself, and you're like, shit, everything is just not working out very good. I want you to understand that every time you're in a breakdown, a breakthrough will follow. It is a natural law. It will absolutely happen, unequivocally, 100%. A breakthrough will happen. These breakdowns are really doorways to making some powerful choices moving forward. But unfortunately, sometimes I think the greatest lessons come from when we're at our low points. And I don't know, they're tougher lessons, because I do believe we think we need to change something at that point. But again, as I say, if you're in a breakdown, a breakthrough will follow. Look forward to the breakthrough, and you'll get over that hump, and you'll get over that next level. And I just wanted to close out with that in some ways. So there you go. Wonderful.
Beautiful. Well, I think that's fabulous, Dana. Thank you so very much. It's been another awesome time with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather, for your card reading. You are so good at oracle card reading, by the way. You seem to be pulling exactly the appropriate cards. It's amazing what's happening. It's those jump cards. I do that too.
Yeah.
So lovely. And I just wanted to let everyone know tomorrow Paul Ottman is coming on. Paul Ottman is coming on, and he is a spiritual psychic reader as well, and a Reiki master and teacher. And he's going to come on, and we're going to be talking all about healing guides and how to talk to our guides. And he's going to help us with that. And you'll get to meet him tomorrow, because I know you couldn't make it for the last video. So I'm really excited about that, and we're all ready to go for that already. So looking forward to tomorrow's show. So I think we'll close out at that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good seeing you. Bye.